Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Lake Highland Preparatory Academy, home of the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. The event in which the Metro Conference puts its reputation as playing the highest quality of basketball on the line. And now, let's meet the starting lineups. We begin with the Boone Braves representing the Metro Conference and the guests on the scoreboard. At guard, a 5'11" junior, number 0, Eric Boyer. A 6'2" senior, guard, number 2, Cheo James. At number 11, a guard, 6'0" junior, number Joan Orta. A senior forward, 6'7", number 12, Kennedy Day. And rounding out the Boone Braves starting lineup, number 22, a forward, 6'3" senior, Harrison Summer. The starting lineups aren't correct. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your host school, the Lake Highland Prep Highlanders. We begin their lineup at shooting forward, a 6'0" sophomore, number 2, Michael Mundiemi. A guard, 6'2" sophomore, number 5, R.J. Ingram. A 6'5" sophomore in guard, number 10, Shiva Atwal. A junior, 6'3", number 15, Patrick Kalan. And rounding out the Lake Highland Prep Highlanders starting lineup, number 21, a 6'6" senior, Cyrus LaPlante. Ladies and gentlemen, your Lake Highland Prep Highlanders starting lineup. And the coaches in his 9th season, David Martson for Boone and Ben Fertrick in his 7th season for Lake Highland Preparatory School. Once again, all games for the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge are being live streamed. You can find those games at metroversusflorida.com. That's METROVSFL.com. Click on the schedule and then click on the TV icon next to those games. Once again, all games are being live streamed for those who cannot attend. In the meantime, let's play some basketball.
And we want to welcome those of you who have done just that to the broadcast. Welcome to Metro versus Florida Challenge on YouTube. My name is Mark Barchi. The voice you just heard doing the starting lineups was Neil Fisher. I am the media director for the Metro versus Florida Challenge. Neil, of course, regularly works for the Apopka Chief, but has been with us for the Metro versus Florida Challenge these last 13 years as we get a foul called against Braves number 12, Kennedy Day, his team's first, and that will send Highlanders number 2, Michael Madumi, to the line, shooting 2.
So a 3-0 lead right now for the Florida contingency. 3 games, 3 victories for Florida.
And Neil, we've had, of course, a good day to start here. This is game number 4 out of 6 today. Game number 4 out of 26 for the event this year. And of course, this is the 13th overall event. So this is an event with a long-standing history as we get a basket by Kennedy Day to put the Braves on the board.
So far today, Mount Dora Christian Academy, Vieira High School, and Mainland, your victors. As Mark said, we begin our 4th game. 2-2 score. That's Boone unable to drop the deuce. Spinning around, ripping the rebound down with James. And he can't get the put back either. And
Yep.
so the battle rages on at the other end.
Now we should note that a little bit of an exception here. Ordinarily, the Metro Conference team, that is the member of Orange County Public Schools, would be the home team wearing the white jerseys, and then the Florida team, in other words, whichever team is not a member of Orange County Public Schools, would be away and would be wearing the dark jerseys. It is flipped in this game, and the reason I think is pretty obvious. Lake Highland Prep is our host today. This is their gym, their court, and it would probably be confusing to everyone if they were anything but the home team. So this is the one exception for the entire event, that the Florida team is home on the scoreboard and the Metro team is away. And that is why we had a little glitch there with the starting lineups, that the wrong names were appearing. We had to flip around which team was which in our system, which is corrected now. Foul is called against Braves, number 11. Joan Orta, his first, team second. Another thing that is new this year, some of these teams have already encountered this if they participated in a preseason classic. But we did have a change to the way that free throws are administered on non-shooting fouls. Up until this point, the FHSAA and the NFHS have mirrored NCAA men's basketball rules, where you shoot one-on-one bonus starting with the 7th foul in the half and double bonus starting with the 10th foul in the half. That is no more. The NFHS has changed to using the FIBA rules, which I'll get to in just a minute. Offensive charge is called against Highlanders number 10, Shiva Atwal. His first, the team's first. So now the NFHS and the FHSA by extension are using FIBA rules, which are also the NCAA women's rules, and that is that all defensive fouls are 2-shot bonus, beginning with the 5th in each quarter rather than each half. Basket by Eric Boyer for the Braves. So that's a little bit of a difference, changes the coach's strategy perhaps. It means you can get into double bonus situations sooner. 3 for Shiva Atwal. But it also means that you get forgiveness out of those bonus situations when you get into the second and fourth quarters. So a little bit of a strategic change. It also means 1-on-1 is gone completely. It's either 2 shots or nothing. But like I said, most of these teams who participated in preseason classics last week have already had 1 or 2 games to get used to that. And now this will be the first game for most of these teams that counts on the record where that rule change will be in effect.
So a 5-4 score. Lake Highland Prep draining a tray to take that lead. Of course, both these schools, probably more so Lake Highland Prep over a longer period of time, expected to make long runs through the postseason. Of course, Lake Highland Prep is a private school, so there are some differences as we get a couple of turnovers. And at the other end, the stop-and-go move, dropping the deuce for Orta.
Basket by Joan Orta. And the Braves take a 6-5 lead.
So last season, a below-average record of 10-14 for Boone. Again, like we said, not only are the Braves expected to get into the playoffs perennially, but also they're expected to win a couple of games. They have made the Final Four a handful of times in their history.
Foul's called against Braves. Number 12, Kennedy Day, his second personal foul, the team's third. That puts the Highlanders at the free throw line. Patrick Cleland shooting 2.
And Boone, a 5-5 record in this event. On the other hand, Lake Highland, they went 16-12, were the district champion. That's Class 4A District 7, forgot to mention. It's actually the opposite in terms of the number. Class 7A District 4 for Boone. Class 4A District 7 for Lake Highland. And they are 9-6 in this event. So again, Mark, this is the 13th edition. And since we were talking about 9-6 record, that means 15 games. I don't remember a MVFC without Lake Highland Prep. So.
Yeah, and certainly it's extra meaningful for Coach Williams to have these games hosted here and to share the hosting responsibilities between Apopka and Lake Highland Prep because of Earl Graham's connection with both of those schools and the event that now bears his name.
Yeah, we've talked about that throughout today. Again, Earl Graham passed away January of 2021 due to COVID. Unfortunately, he was one of the victims. And just left behind, though, a great legacy, an assistant coach for over 50 years, as the drive, the kick out, now stop, pop, no drop in the air ball, as a matter of fact. That was Summer grabbing that loose ball. And Boone will go back to work, trailing 7-6. And, of course, Coach Graham, I got to know him somewhat. He coached at Wekiva and then went up to Apopka his last 15 years. Of course, Coach Williams started the Wekiva program. 7 years later, he left, moved up the road to Apopka, and Coach Graham was his right-hand man at both those stops as a foul, slashing through the lane, Trey Alston.
Patrick Cleland is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot two for the Highlanders. The foul is called against number 32. Harrison White is first, the team's fourth.
Excuse me, that was Cleland, as Mark corrected me. So Coach Graham, of course, he was the kind of coach who, if a player wanted to get some extra reps in, some extra time, he would meet him at 5:30 before the sun comes up, open up the gym for him, and the two of them will work out. And remember, Coach Graham also had a full-time job, so it wasn't just the player who was making the sacrifice. Coach Graham was as well. 8-6 lead now for Lake Highland Prep as both free throws go down. And we'll talk more about Coach Graham as the game goes on. In the meantime, the launch from Hernandez. He's unable to drop the tray. 2:35 remaining first quarter.
Foul is called against Highlanders, number 4, Thomas Landreth. His first, the team's second. Inbound is swatted away by Cyrus LaPlante, and the Highlanders go to work. LaPlante looked like he thought about a three, thought better of it. Now into the paint, swatted away for the Braves by Boyer. Highlanders managed to keep it under control now down the baseline, hitting a wall going into Harrison White there, and the Highlanders will reset. Back to the paint again, still nothing. Trey released, off the glass. Good inside defensive work by the Braves on that last possession, and now 3 for Chio James. So the Braves retake the lead. It's been a back and forth contest. Neil, anecdotally, I don't think I have seen either team get more than 2 consecutive baskets.
No, and neither team has led by more than 2 points.
Layup by number 15, Patrick Cleland. And now this tray is no good, bounces off. Highlanders will pick up the pieces there. Buck 15 remaining in the first. And it's blocked. Nice work there by Harrison Summer, managing to get all ball there. Now on the other side, it's off the heel and into the waiting arms of Robert Oscarson. To the inside and stolen. Harrison Summer got in the way of that one. And now the Braves get an extra possession and an opportunity to retake the lead, depending on how they play the clock. This could be the last possession of the first period.
Yeah, and they could take that lead at the end of the first quarter, going with some momentum. So now 20 seconds remaining, extended right. That's James, and he looks like he's not in any hurry. So it does look like they are going to take that last shot, set up for the last shot. Inside, back out. That's Hernandez. He launches and drains the rain.
Julian Hernandez for 3, and that will be the last word of the first quarter.
couldn't ask for a better ending to that first quarter, draining the tray and taking the lead.
12-10 is your score at the end of 8 minutes. That final tray putting the Braves in the lead, but it's still early yet here in game number 4 of the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. Once again, we want to welcome everyone to the Metro versus Florida Challenge, which is brought to you this year by Advent Health. Our 8 Central Florida hospitals have been named as the best in the Orlando area for 13 years in a row. We care for your mind, body, and spirit while you get back to doing what you love with those you love. Visit besthospitalinorlando.com to get started on your journey to wellness. The Metro vs. Florida Challenge is also brought to you by Burn Fat Orlando, who invites you to step on the scale with their money-back guarantee. If you don't lose weight within the first 10 days, they'll refund your money. Give them a call at 855-889-THIN. That's 855-889-THIN to get the tools and guidance you need to achieve better health and your weight loss goals with an inviting atmosphere and friendly staff and programs. We're also brought to you by St. Germain Chiropractic Clinics, offering the best non-invasive healthcare services in the Central Florida area. With most insurance accepted, they can treat back and neck pain, headaches, auto accidents, slip and fall injuries, and musculoskeletal conditions. Remember, when in pain, call St. Germain.
About to start the second period, what's been a back and forth game, certainly entertaining through the first quarter, first 8 minutes. 12-10 lead for Boone Braves. They're representing the Metro Conference. Lake Highland Prep, the opponent. And if you have been with us all day, thank you. But the Braves are the away team, the guests, because Lake Highland Prep is the home team. So every other game, the Metro Conference is the home team, because this is Metro Conference pride. It is the Metro versus Florida Challenge. And the concept is based on the ACC versus Big Ten Challenge. Every member of the Metro Conference takes on a non-member, a.k.a. the Florida contingency, in each game. At the end of the game, as we get the turnover, nice
out
job
of bounds, Highlanders ball.
Nice job by LHP. At the end of the 26 games over 4 days, we add up the totals and see who has the most wins. Now, every public high school in Orange County is a member of the Metro Conference. So that's how you become a member. It's not like conference, not like college conferences where you get an invite and you have to show the current members that you belong and why you would be a benefit. As scoop the layup, +1. Kiss the glass.
Patrick Cleland, and 1. Foul is called against number 1, Leon Hernandez. That's his first personal foul, the team's first of this half.
So a beautiful stop-and-go move by Cleland, and he gets the free throw to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. And
that was out. Missed.
Excuse me, he missed the free throw. And that leaves us tied at 12 all. And so at the other end, Boone with a chance to retake the lead. So Boone, of course, a member of the Metro Conference. One of the oldest schools in the Metro Conference as well. Drain the rain.
Michael Madumi.
So back out. Boone in their blue jerseys, so light blue with the orange numbers and trim. Uniform that we've seen them use on and off throughout the years. And again, as that ball goes out of bounds, it'll be Lake Highland Prep possession.
Checking into the game for the Highlanders, number 12, Robert Oscarson.
Boone is also one
30-second timeout requested by the Braves.
Boone is also not only one of the oldest members of the Metro Conference, but in Orange County in the state of Florida, established over 80 years ago in the 1920s.
Elevate Orlando is a civic nonprofit focused on helping students grow in strength of character and appreciation and application of essential life skills. Taught in the classroom, modeled through mentoring, and incorporated into all we do so students can apply those skills to their lives. Through a partnership with OCPS, Elevate Orlando's curriculum is offered as an accredited elective course, and their private employee teacher mentors are able to spend more than 50% of their time outside of school mentoring students. With more than 1,500 students, 14 partner schools, a 98% graduation rate, and 96% post-secondary placement, visit elevateorlando.com to learn more. Back to live action here at Lake Highland Prep in Game 4 of the 2023 installment of the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. Again, Mark Parchi, the media director, here with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, taking you through this one, which is turning out to be a really good one, Neil. This is about as exciting of a game throughout as we've had all day long, and I think that doesn't come as a great surprise to anybody.
No, of course not. This was one of the games you circle on the calendar. That's going to be short from White, and we go back the other way. And I got to tell you, Mark, and I don't mean this as any disrespect or a jab at Jones, as the tray rolls off, doing some sky work there, Windex work. Oscarson, he can't get the putback, but after the last game in which it was a 30-plus point victory, a domination by Mainland, certainly a much different game in terms of the competition.
Yeah, I mean, the Braves and the Highlanders, these are two teams that really expect to be in the regional tournament every year. Braves obviously hit a little bit of a skid last year as they were not part of the regional tournament, but this is a team that is no stranger to the state series. And this year they are senior heavy as we get a rolled-in layup from Michael Madumi. So he's up to 7 now for the evening, 7 out of 17 of the Highlanders' offensive production. Going back to the Braves, they are very senior heavy and a lot of people with varsity experience. So we see that happen a lot in high school, that some years, as we get a 3 from Harrison Summer. First points of the game for him. As I started to mention a moment ago, we see this happen at the high school level so often that, you think about at the college level, you turn over your talent every 4 years. At the high school level, in most cases, it's really more like every 2 years as we get a Highlander key shot from R.J. Ingram. Because in many cases, there are a few exceptions. You do see direct-to-varsity freshmen from time to time, but most of the time, your varsity roster tends to be made up of juniors and seniors for the most part, and so graduation changes things every year. Every year you end up with a team that looks very different than it did the year before. Different combination of talents that have to learn to work together. Different combinations of experience at the varsity level, which is so different than playing at the JV level. And it's really interesting to see these very early season contests. Again, a lot of these teams participated in preseason classics last week, but for most of the teams that are playing in the Metro versus Florida Challenge, this will be their first or occasionally second game that actually counts on the record. So this is the first time with an opponent that actually counts that they've been playing together. Here we're going to get a foul called against number 21, Cyrus LaPlante, his first personal foul, the team's first of this period, and that will send Chio James to the line to shoot 2.
So James with 3 points and a 19-16 lead now for Lake Highland Prep. So again, go back and want to mention a couple more things about Coach Graham. Mentioned, of course, he was an assistant coach for over 50 years, had tremendous influence, positive influence on thousands of young men. Talked about his basketball career, but also want to mention, Mark, that I did get to know him somewhat outside. We did some traveling. Goes with the nature of being a play-by-play voice and the reporter for the team, and got to know him as a guy who was, for as good as a coach as he was, and as good of a
basket by Robert Oscarson.
And as for as good a coach as he was in terms of mentoring and using his position as a coach to have a positive influence, I just got to know him as a really good guy. He was the kind of guy who I had many conversations with on those long road trips. And like I said, just all-around great guy, and we certainly do miss him here in the Central Florida area. And
little bunny shot from Michael Madui.
And really, again, why this is no longer just the Metro versus Florida Challenge, but the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. And of course, we do play one day here at Lake Highland Prep because he did spend part of that coaching career coaching for the Highlanders. So,
2 minutes to go here in the first half, and now finally, this is the first time we've really seen a little bit of a run. 6 points, largest lead of the game, with some distance put between the Highlanders and the Braves. Certainly not a comfortable amount of distance if you are Coach Fratrick. Now we let the tray release. It's off the heel, and the Highlanders have an opportunity to make it 8 or 9.
Top of the key to the left now. That was Cleveland. He hands it off. Back at the top of the key to Ingram, who resets the offense. Now he tries to drive down the low. That's Madumi. Couple of shots does not go in. The third shot does not go in. Skying for the rebound. Nice job by Summer. And a minute 15 remaining. Boone looking to stop that run. They will not. Whacked away. The block. And picking up the loose ball is Oscarson, and now he walks it up. He'll be one-on-one against Marino.
1 minute to go here in the second period.
23-17 lead for Lake Highland. Looking to extend that lead, as Mark just said, a 6-point run. A little spin, a little run, the fake shot, and then he throws it up. It floats in the deuce. Ingram.
Basket for the Highlanders by R.J. Ingram, and we have a new record differential. 8 points for the Highlanders over the Braves with 32 seconds to go. And just like in the first period, the Braves have an opportunity here to have the last word, although no matter what, we know they're going to be going into the locker room trailing at this point.
Nice bounce pass on the give and go, and it pays dividends in the form of a foul. That'll be Hernandez going to the line.
Fouls called against Highlanders. Number 4, Thomas Landreth, his second personal foul, the team's second. At the line, shooting 2 for the Braves, number 1, Leon Hernandez.
So again, Florida contingency, a 3-0 lead. The overall score, 3 games, 3 wins from the Florida contingency, the Metro versus Florida Challenge, in honor of Earl Graham, who we have just talked about. Every public high school in Orange County is a member of the Metro Conference, and they take on a non-member in each game. At the end of the 26 games, 4 days, we add up the totals and see who has the most wins, which side. The Metro Conference now 22 teams, and it's really a showcase to show the quality that that exists in the Central Florida Area Metro Conference. Speaking of which, there's a sleight of hand, the steal, the drive, kiss it, +1. That'll be Trey Woods, or actually, excuse me, Joan Orta going to the free throw line.
Foul called against number 5, R.J. Ingram. It's his first, the team's third. The basket by Joan Orta is good. He's at the line for the three-point play. So an opportunity to take that 8-point lead and cut it down further. They do not. So it'll
3
stay
seconds
5.
remaining. The long shot, nothing but air, and that takes us to the end of the second quarter in halftime. So again, Lake Highland Prep with a 6-0 run, about 2 minutes remaining, and they are in front on the strength of that. 25-20 at halftime at the 2023 Metro versus Florida Challenge.
To the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. We also want to thank our sponsors who helped to make the Metro versus Florida Challenge possible. Coach Lo Wood with Excel Speed Training offers training in all sports for speed, agility, and fitness with 2 days a week offered at 3 sites. Find a program that works for you. Visit excelspeed.com. The Winter Park Driving Academy is a proud sponsor of this year's Earl Graham Memorial Metro vs. Florida Challenge, dedicated to serving the greater Orlando area in its mission to train student drivers in essential defensive driving techniques. And not only that, they can also act as your examiner so that you can skip the trip to the DMV. Visit WPDriving.com to schedule lessons and your road test with our experienced and professional staff today. We'd also like to thank Apopka Commissioner Kyle Becker, a proud supporter of Blue Darter Athletics and the Earl Graham Metro vs. Florida Challenge, Williams Construction and Development, dedicated professionals, superior craftsmanship, and better building materials, Mo Money, and Core Construction, where operational excellence is the core standard. For those of you joining us online, we want to thank you for stopping with us and spending part of your Thanksgiving holiday week. Again, I'm Mark Barchi, the media director. The other voice you've been hearing, Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief. We're grateful that you joined us for part of this event. We got about 6 minutes. We're going to take a quick break here, and we will be back from Lake Highland Prep to finish out the second half of Game 4 here at the 13th Annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge.
And welcome back to Lake Highland Prep. The fourth game of the 2023 Metro versus Florida Challenge. Second half beginning. Lake Highland Prep representing the Florida contingency, 25-20 lead over Boone. And they are in the white jerseys, unable to score on the first possession. A 6-0 run, about 2 minutes remaining in the first half, put Lake Highland Prep ahead, and they now extend that lead to 7, kissing the glass. So back to work Boone goes, trailing by 7. I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for spending a part of your holiday weekend with us. We hope you enjoy the coverage as much as we enjoy bringing the coverage to you. A 3-0 lead for the Florida contingency. 3 games, 3 victories. And a foul. Cyrus LaPlante committing the foul. Nice job by Madumi, stepping in front of that pass. At the other end, the tray rolls over the rim. And back off to the races. A stop and go move by James. Can't get the deuce to drop. And ripping the rebound down is LaPlante. A lot of hands in there. LaPlante using his height. Down low, taking the pass. Clellan can't get the deuce to roll in. And the battle rages on, 27-20. Score remains 6:20, third quarter. Of course, one exception to the home and away rule is this game, as that ball does not catch anything but the backboard. That was James. And of course, the Metro Conference is always the home team since this is the Metro Conference's event. But in this case, Lake Highland Prep was generous enough to host one of the games, as the travel is called.
Traveling, Braves ball, checking into the game for Lake Highland Prep, number 22, Kellen Lewis.
So Boone back to work. Another opportunity to cut into that 7-point lead. 6 consecutive points with about 2 minutes remaining. Put Lake Highland Prep ahead. They have a 7-point lead. 5 points at halftime, and Boone unable to get that ball inside. And now Lake Highland Prep with an opportunity to really do some momentum changing. Top of the key. LaPlante hands off to Clellan. He drives that lane, still with the ball underneath, one-on-one guarding, kicks it out, and I believe he stepped on the line.
3 seconds in the key. Braves ball.
So the turnover, both teams with an opportunity to score some points. Boone cut it into that lead, stopped some momentum, regained some of it. Lake Highland Prep further establishing some momentum and a 9-point lead, but when all said and done, opportunity not turned into points, and the score remains 27-20. 5 minutes, third quarter. Boone now rolling that ball, rotating the ball on the perimeter. And James will take that ball out, reset the offense. They go down low, one-on-one. The turnaround, that's Day, and a whistle. And a foul.
Foul's called against Highlanders number 4, Thomas Landreth, his third. The team's second of this half. That will send the Braves to the line. Number 12, Kennedy Day, shooting 2.
So Day with 1 point before that free throw. And one of both drop. So finally, one of these teams scores some points. It's been about 2.5 minutes. And it's Boone, so they cut into that lead, break some of the momentum. And on the other end, the launch.
Three for Kellen Lewis.
And on the other end, the launch, the drain, and the momentum not only gained back, but with more intensity. Now an 8-point lead, largest of the game for Lake Highland Prep, as Boone goes to work. Boone representing the Metro Conference. Lake Highland Prep, the host school for today. No dice on the tray. Slides off that heel, a tip, and James comes down with the loose ball at the other end. Battle, and Boone comes up with it. Drop under 4 minutes. 8-point deficit. They need to get some points from 10 feet. No dice, off the heel, too much. And picking up the loose ball in motion, Alston drops it back into the corner. The Lake Highland bench rises. They will sit down. Ball comes off, but rebounded. Nice Windex work from Lake Highland as a team. Second shot of the possession. That's Lewis. His does not drop, and score remains 30-22. Down on the right wing. Boyer takes it himself, does it all himself, except put the ball in, but he does draw the foul. And actually it was a foul against Boone.
Foul's called against Braves. Number 11, Joan Orta, his second, the team's first of the period.
So 3:19 remaining. And this is usually the first game of the regular season for the teams. Of course, last week was the preseason.
I think I saw a couple of teams that are playing in the event had a game on Monday at some other holiday invitational, and so for a couple of teams this will be their second game, but the vast majority, as we get a traveling call against the Highlanders, a vast majority of the teams participating in the Metro versus Florida Challenge, this is their first regular season game. The only thing they've done so far, if anything, is a preseason classic.
And of course, Boone, one of the oldest schools not only in Central Florida or Orange County, but the entire state. So certainly one of the flagship programs in the Metro Conference, which needs a win. They're down 3-0 in the overall count. Mount Dora Christian Academy, Vieira Mainland, winning in the first 3 games for the Florida contingency. As we approach 2 minutes in the third quarter, the spin. Beautiful move by Orta. Drops in the deuce.
Joan Orta for 2.
And that'll cut the lead to 6. Driving the lane, kick out. Short. And strong rebound by Hernandez. Long outlet at the other end. That was James trying to go up top and immediately rejected by Ingram.
Hey, get it back on D, get it back. Let's go.
So I can hear both coaches yelling. The group coaches yelling, get back on defense. Lake Highland continues to move that ball, but the air ball, wide open shot. Too much arc on it. Back the other way we go. Chance for Boone to cut the lead to 2 possessions. Well, 2 two-point possessions. That's not going to happen. Can't hold on to the ball. And so the drive along the line, contact, no whistle. Back out to number 5. Ingram, he can't get the ball. Bounce unkind. And now down to the corner, the shot. Another unkind rim. That's Hernandez. But Boone does pull down the rebound. They go back to work. Another tray attempt from the left wing. This one too much heat. And slides, pounds off that rim. Bounces off the rim. Couple of long outlet passes. Air ball. And we have been moving up and down now for a good minute, 15 seconds.
Yeah, I know none of these players are wearing Fitbits, but they're getting their steps in for the day as we get a layup by Chio James to finally break the stalemate.
So, not the prettiest of ways to do it, but Boone has cut that lead down to 4 points, 2 two-point field goals as we approach the end of the third quarter, 30 seconds to be exact. Can Lake Highland Prep answer? They had a 6-0 run, about 2 minutes second quarter, which put them in the lead, and they have held it since then. The lead has gone between 5 and 8. The lead will remain at 4 Rebound, long outlet from that rebound, short. Orta unable to get enough range on it at the other end. Yes, kiss the glass, +1. That long pass and the pick paying dividend.
Foul's called against Braves number 1, Leon Hernandez. That's the second personal foul. The team's second, and the basket by Shiva Atwal is good. He's at the line shooting for the three-point play.
So Boone making some headways in, cutting an 8-point lead down to 4. And again, not always the prettiest, doesn't really stick out. They had several opportunities. Lake Highland Prep stood up though as the free throw goes in. And just like that, all that work goes to the wayside as the three-point play is completed and the lead back up to 7, 3 possessions. 5.8 seconds though, that's the good news for Boone. They will get the last shot. Can they get a quality shot? 4, 3, 2, 1, into the corner as the buzzer sounds. And we're going to have to get the ladder out too, Mark. Anyway.
No, these are tall guys. That takes us to the end of the third period. And it is a 7-point ball game for the Highlanders going into the final 8 minutes here in game number 4 of the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, presented by Burn Fat Orlando, St. Germain Chiropractic, and Advent Health. Again, the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge is brought to you by Burn Fat Orlando, who invites you to step on the scale with their money-back guarantee. If you don't lose weight within the first 10 days, they will refund your money. Call 855-889-THIN. That's 855-889-THIN to offer the tools and guidance you need to achieve better health and your weight loss goals. With an inviting atmosphere, friendly staff, and programs, this is your chance to take charge of your weight and your life. The Metro vs. Florida Challenge is also presented by St. Germain Chiropractic Clinics, offering the best non-invasive healthcare services in the Central Florida area. With most insurance accepted, they can treat back and neck pain, headaches, auto accidents, slip and fall, musculoskeletal conditions, and more. When in pain, call St. Germain. We are back to live action here in the final 8 minutes. This has been the game that we were promised, Neil. It's been a good up-tempo game. We've seen a lot of excitement. Lake Highland Prep has really been in command since mid-second quarter. They have not relinquished that lead after some trade-offs in the early to mid-first half. But again, Boone has kept it within shouting distance. So we're going to have a game here going into the final quarter.
Yeah, largest lead of the game has been 8 points. And again, a 6-0 run. Ending about 2 minutes before halftime. Put Lake Highland Prep in the lead, about 8 lead changes before that. And now Lake Highland Prep looking for its largest lead of the game. Will not get it there. That was LaPrance spinning and good defense to throw him off just enough. And at the other end, a jump ball. It'll go to Lake Highland Prep.
Held ball, possession Highlanders.
So Lake Highland Prep, second consecutive opportunity to get the lead up to the largest of the game. And it's been a low-scoring game too, which means good defense. Granted, both these offenses have not played probably up to their capabilities, but a lot of defense having a lot to do with that as the shot's on the way from LaPlante. Gets the rebound. Lake Highland Prep back to work and making the withdrawal.
It's Patrick Clellan from Cyrus LaPlante.
And so now Lake Highland Prep does have its largest lead of the game at 9 points, just under double digits. And Boone needs some points to get some momentum back here, not only in the tangible sense, and like Highland Prep's defense steps up, intercepts the pass, and now they got a chance to really put a stranglehold on control of this game. That is Atwell, who stopped, pops, and drops.
Sheila Atwell.
And just that quickly, what could have been a 7-point lead is now up to 11, largest of the game. And Boone, again, needing some points.
Checking into the game for Lake Highland Prep, number 22, Kellen Lewis.
So Coach Fratic, the Lake Highland Prep coach, he's to my left, encouraging his players, heard him say attaboy Ben, and in the meantime, Boone gets those much needed points.
Basket by Harrison White. That cuts the lead to 9.
Back to single digits. Spinning down that lane, attacking on the right side. No basket for Ingram, but he will go
Ingram
to
is
the
fouled on the
line.
attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Highlanders. The foul is called against Braves number 1, Leon Hernandez. His third personal foul, the team's first of this period.
So again, midway through that second quarter, ending with about 2 minutes before halftime, 6-0 run for Lake Highland Prep. They went into the lead and have not trailed since then. Boone was keeping it close for a while, got down to 4, and now at 9 points. The largest was 11. And a timeout.
Full timeout called by Lake Highland Prep. Highlanders take a full timeout.
5:38 remaining. When we come back, Lake Highland Prep with the 10-point lead.
We'd like to thank our friends at Advent Health for co-presenting the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. With 8 Central Florida hospitals, they've been named the best in the Orlando area 13 years running. At Advent Health, we care for you, mind, body, and spirit, while you get back to doing what you love with those you love. Visit www.besthospitalinorlando.com to get started on your journey to wellness. Stick around after the conclusion of this game. Just like with all games in the Metro vs. Florida Challenge, we'll be presenting the Earl Graham Most Valuable Player Award. That'll be immediately after the conclusion of this game. And then, of course, we still have 2 more games for you to wrap up the night. And in particular, those are going to be Freedom versus Bishop Moore at 6:15, and then Lake Buena Vista Mount Dora at 7:45.
So Boone has some work to do. Trailing by 10, 5.5 remaining. In the 4th game, making up the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. The launch, that was James, and that was an air ball. So now Lake Highland Prep with an opportunity to extend its lead to the largest of the game. And a little too much lead on that pass. McClellan came down with it but couldn't stop from going out of bounds. Exactly what the doctor ordered from the Boone perspective. It's certainly a game that's not out of reach for the victory, but Boone has to start coming up with some more stops and coupling them with points scored on the other end. We've seen good defense from both these teams, as the 56 points total will attest to. But Lake Highland has done a little bit better job over the course of the 3.5 quarters and scoring on that other end after those turnovers. And that's going to be another turnover.
Foul is called against Highlanders number 2, Michael Madumi. That's his team's first this period.
So again, it's been a defensive-oriented game, 56 points in total, and that means points are coming at a premium. They're not easy to score, but there is an easy one off the backboard. Ingram.
That's Chino James on the pass to Harrison White.
Yeah, excuse me, James. Beautiful pass. And 4 minutes remaining, 8-point lead. So lead has gone between 4 and 11. And an opportunity for Boone as the ball does not drop. Iron on time. LaPlante taking the shot. Boone crosses midcourt as we drop under 4 minutes. Oh, nothing but air on that one from Hernandez. Quick bounce pass the other way. And Ingram got raked on the way up. 3:43 remaining now.
Foul is called against Boone, number 32, Harrison White, is second, the team's second.
So Lake Highland Prep inbounds that ball, looking to get some of those momentum back. Of course, they are in the position they can afford to miss a few shots here and there with that 8-point, 3-possession lead. The spin, making the withdrawal, Moundium.
Michael Madule for two.
Oh, certainly raised the spirits of the Lake Highland Prep as they all stood up and cheered. About 250 fans, maybe 300 in attendance for this game. See the host school as the ball, Iron Unkind. And give the rebound to Lewis. He's now one-on-one with Orta. And this is a real critical possession. If Lake Highland Prep scores, that would increase their lead to 12. Largest of the game, and they're going to try from the top of the key. Gets the roll and drains the ring.
For Kellen Lewis.
So never mind 12. They go for the trade, drops it, and it's a 13-point lead with 2.5 remaining. And now Boone needing points. They need points quickly. And they're taking some time off the clock here. Lake Highland Prep, of course, their defense having something to do with that. Whistle, that'll stop the clock at 2:11.
Returning to the game for the Highlanders, number 15, Patrick Cleland.
So this has been very much a very slow, piece by piece, taking lead, taking challenge, taking command of this game by Lake Highland Prep. They've missed on a lot of possessions, but their defense, as you see there's an example, has kept them in the game, has kept them with the lead, coming up with big plays. So again, this is a 13-point lead. If you've been watching this game and you think about runs as the ball is launched, that'll be short off the right side. Nothing, it hasn't been a run that stood out. It hasn't been a run where you get the feeling that Lake Highland Prep has a double-digit lead. But you look up and you see that 13-point lead, and now it could be 15. Again, probably every 3-4 possessions they've added 2 points to that lead here in the second half. They took the lead for good with about 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter. A 6-0 run. They went in with a 4-point lead at halftime. Now again up to 13 as we have a minute left. And I think Boone is down to its last gasp here. They need a stop. They will get it. That ball slapped out of bounds. Kennedy Day, 56.9 seconds. Of course, even if they do get the stop, they're going to have to come down and score on the other end. And you look at both these defenses, and obviously Lake Highland Prep's defense has been the difference, carrying the team to that 13-point lead. Again, neither of these teams have scored a lot of points, although Lake Highland Prep has picked it up in the last 4 minutes or so. But when you're talking 73 points combined, that's obviously a defensive effort. But Lake Highland Prep's defense has been a little bit better over every 4 or 5, every handful of possessions. And that's why they've come up with that 13-point lead. And it looks like that's going to be it as far as the outcome. Boone unable to get the ball back. And now, although they are challenging, it's not really a hardcore challenge. They're letting Lake Highland Prep have their room to dribble. 20 seconds, Lake Highland Prep's going to dribble out the ball. And a 4-0 lead for the Florida contingency. Again, a 6-0 run starting about midway through the second quarter, ending with 2 minutes in the second quarter, putting Lake Highland Prep up. And they never look back, slowly extending the lead. Slowly extending the lead throughout the second half and taking a 13-point lead.
It's to the end of the ball game. Final score here on Game 4, Lake Highland Prep 43, Boone 30. And before we wrap things up here, we've got a little bit of hardware to hand out. Leading his team to victory with 14 points, your Earl Graham MVP for game number 4 is number 2, Michael Madue.
Next game.
Once again, we'd like to thank everyone for coming out, whether you're here in person at Lake Highland Prep or watching us on YouTube or MetroVSFL.com. Thanks for spending part of your Thanksgiving holiday with us. We hope that you will join us for our next game coming up. We are actually running just a shade ahead of schedule. Coming up next here at the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, we have game number 5, which will be Freedom versus Bishop Moore. That is scheduled for a 6:15 start time, and so we have about 45 minutes before we get to that one, and we hope that you will meet us for that as well. Each game is on its own separate live stream, so if you're here in the arena and headed home, make sure you tune in. If you're already watching us online, go ahead and pull up that live stream, and we will meet you there just a couple minutes before 6:15, and we will continue with things here at the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge.